We enhance lives across Africa.
Chichi.
What's life?
Is life ugly?
Is it spiritual?
Isn't it loved?
And above all, isn't life really drama?
Find out what life is and what it can be every Thursday at 11 p.m. with repeats on Friday and Sunday at 12:30 p.m.
Your Saturday afternoons just got better on NTV with Exposed. Join Cats and the Platinum DJs as they bring you some mad Saturday afternoons just got better on NTV with Exposed. Saturday afternoons just got better on NTV with Exposed. Join Cats and the Platinum DJs as they bring you some mad DJ skills and crazy video mixes.
You're now rocking with the best. Catch us every Saturday as we live. We'll take you through an experience you'll never forget.
Remember to call in with your music requests and also get a chance to win some incredible goodies. That's every Saturday from 1:30 p.m. only on NTV, the station that digs your music. Your Saturday afternoons just got better on
A message yali ku the last piece of a jambi yali muhadi wa yonna.
No, bloody way, holy moly.
We've just met. How can I be your friend? Mr. Rashmond. A message yali ku the last piece of a jambi yali muhadi wa yonna.
No, bloody way, holy moly.
We've just met. How can I be your friend? Mr. Rashmond.
I'm called Olar Oton. There's no English name. Just like resistance, Yakazol.
Yeah, blame you. You have option of getting international husband. Why do you get it?
No one feels the motherland like we do. No one feels the motherland like we do. So tune in every day at 6 p.m. and Fridays from 11 p.m. for the best in homegrown music. Only on NTV, the station that celebrates local music talent. We know that all music is beautiful, and that's why NTV. We know that all music is beautiful, and that's why NTV brings you the catalogue. Every day at 2:15 p.m. with the classics on Monday.
Kyekyo ddala NTV Akawungeezi yetabye yessaawa eyo endagaanye wetujjidde nno okumpewo nga ebyebuduuda okusinga bye biri ku mimwa gy'abantu tugenda kukubuulira gavumenti bwetegese okujuna abakoseddwa ko n'abamu ku babaka mu Parliament abagamba nti gavumenti esusse okwogera ekivuddeko ebizibu ebyandyewaliddwa okugwa. Katusooke nga bulijjo tulabe emitwe emikulu. Ebuduuda essuubi ly'okusanga abalamu liweddewo, abasoba 30 bafudde. Abasimatuse ebitaka ebyassa abantu bannyonnyodde ebyabaddewo. Empigi Laddu essa abayizi 2 n'omusomesa, abalala 12 bali mu ddwaliro. Saakumatira Malik Kalisa ne Tugome bakuddamu okukubagana mu za kickboxing. Eriemu yennyini nze Franco Lusembi. Abakulu mu gavumenti batubulidde nti essuubira okusanga abantu abakyali abalamu liweddewo mu ttaka erya igulu ku Ssebuduuda limale liziika ennyumba eziwerako, okutta abantu n'okulumya abalala. Tutuuse okujja ku mpewo nga tewali mulambo gwazuuliddwa, weewaawo ng'abaliyo bakola butaweera okusima. Amayumba 29 gakakasiddwa nti gaziikiddwa mu ttaka, ate kiroozebwa nti abantu abasoba 30 bandibanga baafudde. Omuntu affe byakuŋŋaanyiza biraga nti kyandibanga abafudde be bamu ku bantu abaali baatwalibwa ekiryandongo mu 2010 kyokka ate ne baddukayo. Mu 2010 ettaka lyaziika ebyalo ebiwerako e Buduuda, abantu ne baweebwa amagezi basenguke.
Olunaku lw'eggulo ku saa 8 ez'emisana entiisa yabutikidde ebyalo bino ebina omuli Bunakasala, Bunamulembwa, Mabaya ne Walwanyi ebisangibwa mu muluka gw'Ebumwalukani mu ggomba y'Ebulukyeke mu disitulikiti y'e Buduuda. Kabadde kaseera kazibu ddala eri abantu mu kitundu kino n'ebitundu ebirinaanyeewo era nga nakati tebabitegeera. Mu mbeera nga bayambibwako ekitongole kya Uganda Red Cross baasimye ettaka eringi eryabutikidde bannaabwe mu mayumba 29 okulaba nga bataasa obulamu bwabwe. Enkya ya leero bakedde kukola kintu kye kimu naye nga tewali gwe banunudde. Gavumenti evuddeyo olwaleero neetegeeza nti essuubira okusanga abakyali abalamu liweddewo era nga abantu abasukka 30 be bateebereza okuba nga bafiiridde mu ttaka lino. Minisita w'ebigo bitalaze Stephen Malinga agamba nti abamu ku bano bandibanga be baali batwaliddwa ekiryandongo mu kiwambulire ekyasooka mu 2010 ate ne bakomawo.
Naye abantu abamu olw'okulumirwa ewaabwe abamu baddayo, abamu so si bonna. Nolwekyo kiyinzika nti abamu ku bantu abaddayo beebo ekizibu kino kye kituuseeko ku luno.
Abantu 10 basimatuse nga bali mu ddwaliro e Buduuda, amayumba 7 golekedde okugwa so nga abantu 200 be batatagaanyiziddwa. Gavumenti yategeezezza nti enkuba yakweyongera okutonnya ng'abantu 40 mu disitulikiti 15 be bagenda okukosebwa. Omukungu mu kitongole kya nneme eky'obutonde bw'ensi agamba nti embeera y'e Buduuda kikyali kituuza kubanga obuzibu bukyali bw'amaanyi.
No, this can't be the last because I was up in the Mount Elgon and more cracks are appearing, and wherever you have a crack, that is a sign that the slope already now the downward forces are overpowering those which hold the slope. So definitely it will take its time, but you'll get a slide.
Gavumenti ezeetekebwa ku nnengo okuva mu 2010 lwaki tesengula abantu mu bitundu bino ekibuuzo bannamawulire kibazemu okubuuza olwaleero.
Nga abantu okubasaba obusabi nti musenguke okuva wano, abasinga obungi tebaagala kuvaayo lwa nsonga bbiri nga bwe mbagambye. Ettaka lyeyo gimu nnyo, ate ekyokubiri teriyo bulwadde bwa malaria engulu.
Malinga agamba nti gavumenti si yakuteekawo nkambi z'ababundabunda wabula nga abantu abatataganyiziddwa obuyambi bakubusanga mu b'eŋŋanda zaabwe.
Embeera tugezaako okunoonyereza abantu ababuze na okujjanjaba abo abakosebwa n'okutwala abo abali mu bitundu ebyo ebyakosebwa okulaba nti bagenda mu ŋŋanda oba mu mikwano tubaweereza obuyambi obuw'emmere n'amazzi n'ebintu ebirala, bulangiti n'ebirala byonna nga bali eyo mu nganda zaabwe okusinga camp nga bwe twakola ku luli.
Akabenje akagwa mu district y'e Budula mwaka 2010 mwafiiramu abantu bangi ddala era nga n'abamu emirambo gyalemera mu ttaka.
NTV Akawungeezi abamu ku babaka mu Parliament bagamba nti gavumenti oluusi eyitiriza nnyo okwogera obwogezi n'erema okubaako kyekola ku bizibu ebiyinza okutomera eggwanga lino. Bwe tubadde twogera n'abamu ku bano ku njega eyagudde Buduuda batubulidde nti gavumenti yandibadde esengula abantu wakiri ku mpaka n'etabaleka kukubwa bitaka ate nga waliwo okulabula okw'ekikula kye kimu emyezi mitono nnyo egiyiseewo ne mu 2010 ebitakalo byayiguluka era ne bitta abantu kumpi 200,000.
Baalaga olunyanfa buli muntu n'abeera nga akimanyi nti budde bwonna wajja kubaawo ekizibu. Abantu baali badde bagayadde okuvaayo. Gavumenti yali badde bajjeyo byampaka okusinga okufiirwa abantu bwe tuti.
We have not done much to resettle them. This has been ongoing. Minister one time said the issue had been discussed in cabinet.
Nenzanza tekiteekwa okukolebwa gavumenti n'abantu be Buduuda bakkirize nti babasengule baveewo bagende mu kifo ekirala naye mu kubasengula baweebwe baliyirirwe bulungi.
As a government, we are not doing much to manage issues of disaster when it talks to issues of early warning. For instance, in Kenya, there is a specific radio station manned with the activity of informing the community on issues of disaster preparedness. Now, for us, for example, in Buduuda, it's very, very unfortunate, and as I know, government is not doing enough on issues of disaster, and we must come out strongly.
Sewa byonna kwabyogera mu parliament kwabyogera mbadde tambula ministry ya prime minister's office bino bya disaster naye nga tewali akigenda kukola kugenda kutuula nga ffe babaka ba Bugisu parliamentary group kulabe ekyokukola oba kuddeyo mu kyalo kwogere n'abantu gambe.
Bebamu ku babaka abo nga baggusa ebirowoozo byabwe ku njega eyagudde e Buduuda. Abantu mu ggombolola y'e Bulucheke abalabye ettaka nga liiguluka batubulidde ebimu ku byabaddewo. Abamu ku bo bakyatendereza Katonda eyababiseeko akasubi ne basimatuka enjega eno. Minisita omubeezi w'ebigwa bitalaze alagidde abantu abali mu bitundu bino byonna okubivaamu ng'era obubaka bwe bumu obwo bwe bwaweebwa mu 2010 ekintu kyekimu bwe kyagwawo.
Bano bamu ku batuuze b'e Bunnakasala ekisangibwa mu ggombolola y'e Bulucheke abeefunyiridde ku kufukuza ettaka okugyayo abantu ababutikiddwa ettaka olunaku lw'eggulo. Omuvubuka ono atotola engeri ettaka gye lyabumulukuseemu ko ebyaddiridde.
Tewabadde na nkuba naye yaze netwala ebintu n'abantu family ezafiiriddwa abantu baabwe waliyo family ya Mr. Obuteya yafiiriddwa omwana abaana be bana n'omukyala we then wabeerawo ne homestead endala eyafiiriddwa taata wamu ne maama wamu newankubadde nga abaana babadde bagenze ku ssomero.
So nga ate namukadde ono annyonnyola engeri gy'alwanyeemu okutaasa amabujjege k'obulamu bwe.
Saa ile ilikuwa naanguka kwa nyumba, yani nilikuwa na watoto watatu. Sasa hawa watoto watatu nikasukuma wakaenda huko. Mmoja akaniambia tumeenda na tumeacha mtoto mmoja kwa nyumba. Sasa kukimbia kuenda kuchukua huyo mtoto mmoja kwa nyumba nikaona chini inatititika tu hivi.
Na nyumba yako vile.
Abesendi ya sibaka basoma.
Yala bye landsliding efa wali wawa nasolo. Ngali wali natuka nakendeli.
Mu bigambo bitono yinza okuloza nti kino kibadde kibira wabula nga si bwe guli. Gye gimu ku miti egyasenguddwa amaanyi g'ettaka agavudde ku lusozi eri waggulu olunaku lwajjo mu kitundu kino eky'Emwalukale. Abantu bakyagenda mu maaso okulwa n'okulaba nti baziikula ebisigalira by'abantu ababikkiddwa ettaka lino naye nga ne gye buli eno teri n'omu yasobodde kufunikako. Ng'ennyika ekyabutikidde ekyalo kino gavumenti etegeezezza ng'abantu abadde bakyasigadde ku lusozi luno balina okulwamuka nga basenga mu bitundu ebya wansi okwewala akabenje nga kano okuddamu.
We are going to look after the displaced people and we are asking them all in this region to relocate. We are not going to open a camp. We have requested them to come down to the low-lying areas which are relatively safe, live with the communities. The local leaders will mobilize them. My ministry is going to look after the host families together with those that are displaced.
Bo ab'ebyokwerinda nga kuliko amagye ga UPDF wamu ne poliisi batuuse dda mu kitundu kino okulaba nga bayamba ku mbeera. k'okunoonya emirambo bwe buzibidde nga kukyagenda mu maaso nga kukulembeddwamu abatuuze b'omu kitundu kino. Julia Senkandwa, NTV.
NTV Akawungeezi. Amawulire gakyali gannaku. Waliwo abayizi n'abasomesa mu Kajaga Primary School abali mu nnaku olw'abannaabwe okufa, abannaabwe 2 n'omusomesa. Bano bakubiddwa laddu. Abayizi abalala 12 baweereddwa ebitanda mu Mpigi Health Center. Akabenje kano kaguddewo ku ssaawa 8 n'ekitundu olunaku lwabadde lwajjo. Kinajjukirwa nti gavumenti yalagira amasomero okuteekawo obuuma obukwata eggulu ekiringa ekyakoma mu bigambo. Abayizi abafudde babadde ba P6. Waliwo era abantu abalala 4 abagambibwa okuba nga nabo bakubiddwa laddu olunaku lwajjo mu kitundu ky'e Kibisi ne Gunda era mu disitulikiti y'Empigi. Bano bote ebibakwatako tebinaba kutegeerekeka mu bujjuvu.
Wano we waka w'omwana Elisa Katurebe eyakubiddwa laddu n'afa ne banne abalala omu abadde naziwa Mega wamu n'omusomesa waabwe King Pius abafiiriddewo embulaga olunaku lw'eggulo. Kitaawe w'omwana Katurebe yafudde agamba nti yabunye emiwabo bwe yawulidde nti eggulu likubye abaana be.
Mwana abadde asoma kya 6 era nga atuwa essuubi kubanga abadde akula, abadde wa myaka 13. Naye Mukama bw'atyo bwe yageze tetulina kyakukola, tujja kugenda ne Katonda kye yamusaliddewo gye myaka gye yamuwadde.
Yo omusomesa King Pius aziikiddwako abasanda ate y'omwana naziwa Mega bamuziise ku bizinga e Kalangala. Abaana abalala abakubiddwa laddu eno bali mu ddwaliro Empigi bajjanjabibwa naye nga abasinga ku bo basangiddwa nga batandise okuba ku matu era nga bannyonnyola engeri laddu eno gye yabakubyemu.
Nagenze olaba nga eggulu limwantuse n'engwa wansi n'entandika okwaka omuliro ku bigere nenvaayo neŋŋenda mu P6 nagenze otuuka mu P6 nga abaliyo bo balaajana.
Okuba yagenze otonya ng'etusamukira amadirisa kati neŋŋenda nentuulako oli munnange yafudde. Twadde tukyali aggulu ne libwatuka nze ne linkuba ne linsitula eri oli munnange yabadde andeze ne limutta.
Twandimitinga abaana 12 naye nga babadde severe wooti njadde babadde nga bameka babadde nga 5 era beeboogambe boosanze waggulu then abalala bagenda bakola ki badischarginga kuba kati baimprovinzeemu okusinga gye we bajjidde.
Bwe tutuuse ku ssomero Enjegeno we yagudde ekiyongobero kikyaliwo ky'amaanyi wabula nga abakulira essomero lino bagamba nti beetaaga buyambi. Omwaka oguwedde laddu yakuba amasomero agawerako mu bitundu by'eggwanga eby'enjawulo omwafiira abaana abawerako n'abalala ne balumizibwa. Minisitule y'ebyenjigiriza yavaayo netegeeza nga amasomero bwe geetaaga okubeera n'obuuma obukwata laddu naye nga kino kirabika kyakoma mu bigambo.
Baba temuli madirisa, abaana babadde batudde enkuba nnyingi bonna bekumye mu kasonda kamu ate ne lirondako omwana ono nannyini engatte yabadde asembye wansi nga kwaliko abalala abamutuddeko be yabadde aleze mu ngeri y'okwekukuma naye ne litto yasigadde wansi.
Desiki eno gy'olaba abaana abafudde 2 we babadde batudde ng'engatto zino zabadde za Elisa Katurebe ne zino nga za Naziwa Mega. Kyannaku nnyo bano 2 tebasobodde kusimatuka oluvannyuma lw'eggulo okuba ekibiina kino. Embeera bw'etyo eyolekedde okubanga yeeyongera kubanga sizoni y'enkuba etandise wabula bekikwatako omuli amasomero ne minisitule ezikwatibwako ku nsonga ng'eno bwe ziti zisaana okuvaayo zibeeko kye ziyamba naddala eri obulamu bw'abaana abasomera mu masomero bwe gati. Dini Lubowa Sava, NTV Akawungeezi.
Ab'enganda z'abantu abo tubasaasidde nnyo. Abatuuze Kibuli mu Ajip Zone okumpi ne Kampala wakati nabo bazookukidde mu ntiisa ya mulambo gwa musajja alabika nga yakooye okubeera omulamu ne yeetugira ku muti. Bagamba nti omugenzi tebamumanyi kyokka nga omu ku bakansala mu kitundu ekyo Jemada Bukenya atubulidde nti omugenzi alabiddwako olunaku olwajjo nga atambula nga bw'asaba ssente okuva ku abo basisinkana.
Olwo omusajja asangiddwa naye tetunaba kumanya bimukwatako kuba talina kyasangirwa nakyo kimwogerako naye nga alabika ali myaka nga wakati wa 2 na 25 pasenti gy'amaanyi nti nno kigambye okuba nti alabika yeetuze yejje mulamu w'ensi nga yeyeka
yadde atambula agenda asaba ssente asaba kino so abantu baweddemu essuubi
era omuntu aba yeetuze
olaba ng'aba ali waggulu nnyo ono kisuubirwa alinga gwe baleese obuleesi wano.
Omuntu tasobola kwettira ku kati ako akakati kampi nnyo omuntu alaajana nnyo n'obulamu.
NTV Akawungeezi tukyagenda mu maaso eddakiika ziri nga 15 eziyise ku ssaawa emu. Tugenda kukomawo n'ekitundu ekyokubiri. Agambibwa okusera ekyalo akwatiddwa abatuuze beesombye. E Kayunga bali kuyoleke okuziikula obuwanga bw'abafukuzeemu.
This is NTV.
We know that all music is beautiful, and that's why NTV brings you the catalogue. Every day at 2:15 p.m. with the classics on Monday, reggae on Tuesday, country on Wednesday, Africa on Thursday, and love ballads on Friday.
You're like a dream come true. Just wanna be with you.
The beautiful sound of music only on NTV, your official music station. No one feels the motherland like we do. No one feels the motherland like we do. So tune in every day at 6 p.m. and Fridays from 11 p.m. for the best in homegrown music. Only on NTV, the station that celebrates local music talent.
Ideally, we all have the right to express our opinions and views truthfully and openly.
Ate leero tugenda Katongole Mbukasa.
Ideally, we all have the right to express our opinions and views truthfully and openly.
Ate leero tugenda Katongole Mbukasa.
Kampala bwerere mwasomo the bus.
The discussion is still going on in the bus. Tulina okugumira challenges ezimu bwe tuba tulina okugoba abatembeeyi mwami Lukwago agumaga abatembeeyi mugende no mbadde ndala kunyonyola omukulu mbadde ndala kunyonyola omwami yagambye nti Meya Lukwago ye meya omutuufu gavumenti ekutte Lukwago emunyigira mu nsonga takyekyusa.
Welcome back to Minibus Kyogereko.
Teko omusajja abankwana nga njagala sifa ku kya ssente wabula nfa ku mbeera yeyisa
alimba ono
This is Minibus
Kyogereko.
Fieldwork has been defined by different scholars. Fieldwork has been defined by different scholars. Some think it is an art.
These are the blood types that are in human beings. We have A.
When a chemical
Fieldwork has been defined by different scholars. Some think it is an art.
These are the blood types that are in human beings.
Fieldwork has been defined by different scholars.
NTV Akawungeezi katugende maaso ku kyalo Nakabugo ebbira ku luguudo oludda Emitiyana abatuuze bagudde ku musajja gwe bateebereza okubeera omusezi balumiriza nti omusajja ono bamusanze amaanyuuka nga taliiko wadde akakubiro nti era bwe bamukutte abadde tanyega kigambo ko bo nti ekitambo kikyamuliko oba si kyo ng'awedde kuuka omusezi ly'aggweera mu lutabaalo.
Omukyalo omu nga mutuuze mu kitundu kino ategezezza nti yawulidde ku makya ga leero ng'abaana baleekaana nti omusezi era bwe yafulumye n'asanga ng'omusajja ono ali bukunya nga tayogera na kwogera.
Bamukutte ng'awo 12 ne basobola n'empulira enduulu nga zikuba paka lwe bamuleese wano bwe bamuleese wano ne tukakasa nti musezi olw'okubanga ffe tubadde n'emikolo wano awaka bwaffe naye waliwo omuntu buli kaseera ng'abeera atambula era waliwo eyasulako mu mmotoka awo yatugamba alaba omuvubuka bw'atyo ng'ali bwerere ng'ajja ku mmotoka n'akola bw'ati amataala omusajja n'adduka.
Wabula ate bo abatuuze abalala eky'omusajja ono okubeera omusezi bakiwakanyizza era obwedda balumiriza nti yandibanga y'omu ku kibinja ky'ababbi ababasuza ku tebuukye.
Abo babbi abo balina gurupu gye bakola ki gye babbiramu naye kati yeefudde omusezi olw'okuba bamukoze eki bamukutte owulidde naye batubba okufa obufi kuno.
Musezi oyo bamuteze eddagala.
Buli omu obwedda byasanga byabadde ayogera nga waliwo n'abategezezza nti ayinza okuba ng'aliko bubeezi kikyamu ku mutwe.
Si musezi wabula muki omutwe gwe guliko ekikyamu essaawa ze bamutaddaawo singa kati taliiwo.
Ye mulalu kuba teri kitambo kiyinza kubeera ku muntu nnaku 2 n'emabega naye nga ab'omu katundu kano bo bamulabye okuva nze ndowooza bandimutadde.
Ono oluvannyuma bamusumuludde ne bamusiba akakutiya bwe batyo ne bamuwalaawala paka ku poliisi y'ebbira. Hatman Alugwa Sekaya, NTV Akawungeezi.
Ebivudde ebbira musezi si musezi mubbi kabalala nti si mubbi. Mu kugenda maaso ababaka abatabukidde abali b'enguzi n'abeekomya ssente z'eggwanga bakoze ebbago erigenderera okukola ennongoosereza mu tteeka ku buli bw'enguzi n'obukenuzi erinaasobozesa gavumenti okuboya ebintu by'abantu ababba ssente. Omubaka owa Makindye East John Simbwa, owa Ntenjeru South Patrick Nsanja n'owa Nakaseke South Sempala Mbuga be bakulembeddemu bannaabwe mu kino.
Okusinziira ku kunoonyereza okwakolebwa banka y'ensi yonna kyazuulibwa nti Uganda efiirwa obumbi bw'ensimbi 5 buli mwaka nga zigenda ku buli bwanguzi. Etteeka eryakolebwa mu mwaka gwa 2009 ku kulwanyisa obuli bw'enguzi liwa ebibonerezo ng'okusibwa okulagira omuntu okuwa engassi naye nga teriwa kibonerezo kyakubawa bintu by'oyo abakakasiddwa okulya enguzi. Kati ababaka bavuddeyo ne bategeeza nti etteeka eriwo linafu nnyo nga lyetaaga okwongeramu natti gavumenti ebenga esobola okubawa ebintu by'abalyake.
Etteeka ligamba nti omuntu yenna afudde oyo ali musikira oba aliganyulwa mu byobugagga bye byabadde nabyo ajja genda mu maaso ng'avunaanibwa omusango badde kuvunaanibwa omugenzi bwe guli musinga newakuba tajja kusibwa mu kkomero oyo omusika naye ebintu byasikira byonna bijja kutwalibwa gavumenti ebitunde esobola okugyayo ssente zaayo.
Tugenda kubeera mabega wa nsonga eno tusobole okulwanisa obulyake obuli mu ggwanga n'okubeera nti nno kooti zaffe omuntu akkiriza bukkiriza musango n'asasula ssente entono ng'amaze okubba ssente nnyingi ennyo. Ekyo tetugenda kikkiriza.
Bwe twogerera ng'ababaka John Simbwa wa Makindye, Patrick Nsanjo wa Ntenjeru South, Sempala Mpuga wa Nakaseke n'abalala bamaze okukola ebbago lino era nga bawera nti ku luno abali b'enguzi bubakeeredde.
Etteeka lino era litunuulira nti abooluganda bonna n'abantu ab'emikwano abadde bakolagana n'omubbi nga balina ebintu ebirina akakwate ku mubbi oyo bye yabba oba nga basuubirwa okuba nti babifuna ku munyago gwe yabba n'ebyabwe bigenda kutundibwa.
Bagamba nti waliwo abantu ababba ssente za gavumenti ne bazimbamu agazimbe nga gali mu mannya g'abakyala baabwe, abaana ab'eŋŋanda saako n'okuzikuka mu banka z'ebweru w'eggwanga era nga nabo ebbago ligenda kubakukunulayo.
Mekezire Sweden
mekeziri Kenya Tanzania ezo zonna ssente nnyingi bwe zityo zivaawa tulowooza nti ezisinga ku ezo zibbibwa bubbibwa.
Obuli bw'enguzi mu Uganda bwafuuka kookolo yennyini era ababaka okuvaayo nga baagala okukyusa mu tteeka erirwanyisa obuli bw'enguzi bateekemu obuwaayiro okulaba ng'omuntu ababbye ssente za gavumenti ebintu bye biboyebwa kirungi nti kiyinza okukendeeza ku buli bw'enguzi. Jingo Francis, NTV Akawungeezi.
NTV Akawungeezi. Ab'obuyinza e Kayunga bali ku muyigo gw'abantu abadde bagezaako okuzikula ebisigalira by'abafu. Bino byabaddewo ku kijja ekimu ku kyalo Kisaaba ekiri mu ggombolola y'e Kayunga. Babatuuze batandise dda okulumiriza abasawuzi b'omu kitundu.
Amalalo g'omugenzi Alex Mulumba eyafa mu 1999 n'abalala basatu nga nabo baziikibwa ddako be baataataaganyiziddwa abantu abatannaba kutegeerekeka bulungi. Ekigendererwa ky'abakoze ekikolwa kino ne gye buli eno tekinnamanyika wabula ng'abamu ku batuuze bawanuuzizza nti byandibanga bino bya kisamize byennyini.
Ekirubirwa kyabo abalogo baba bitutoba mu ddogo kangambe nti ndowooza babikozesa mu ddogo.
Abasawo Abaganda be bamanye engeri gye babukozesaamu bwe babwetanira ennyo kubanga kuno owaffe ne Bugerera abasawo Abaganda bangi nnyo.
Poliisi yafuuzizza ekifo kino omwabadde n'okukozesa embwa enkessi n'ekakasa ab'eŋŋanda z'abafu bano ng'ebisigalira by'abantu baabwe bwe bikyaliwo naye abamu ku bo kino tebaakimatidde bulungi era basigadde bakukkuluma.
Eno entaana yagudde bugwi ku lwamukuba eyatonye ekiro. Twacekinze wansi ne tusanga buli kimu kyonna weekiri akawanga weekali era tuwali kyetwaliddwa. Kati nga findings zaffe nti omuntu yagiddwayo akyaliyo.
Bagize bugizi kiti ne bagira eri olabye engoye ne bagamba omuntu mwali. Ate ng'omuntu bayinza okuba nga baggyeyo eri akawanga ne bakatwala nga ne balekamu engoye era ziba mwezi kye batwalirako nangoye batwala kawanga kokka. Nze siri mu mativu mu ekyo.
Tusanze abakola entaana tebateekamu siminti bateekako busenyu n'amayinja ekyaleetedde entaana kukola pusinga easily.
NTV Akawungeezi. Tugenda kulaba akatale k'ensiimi nga bwe kabadde olwaleero e Kampala. NTV Akawungeezi eriemu n'eddakiika 27 katuumulemu tugenda kukomawo n'ebyemizannyo girobera naffe.
This is NTV.
Fieldwork has been defined by different scholars. Some think it is an art.
These are the blood types that are in human beings. We have A.
When a chemical reaction takes place, it involves two things.
We are given a straight line that has been denoted by 2x minus y is equal to.
Weewaawo mu byemizannyo mu kickboxing Malik Kalisa ye yawangulwa Titus Tugume mu mpaka z'okulwanira engule y'eggwanga omwaka oguwedde ayingidde enkambi mu gym y'ebikonde Lugogo yeetegekera olulwano olw'okuddingana ne Tugume olulibeera e Lugogo omwezi ogujja. Mu kiseera kino Kalisa atendekebwa abaaliko abazannyi b'ebikonde nga Charles Lubuulwa ne Adam Kasimu.
Olulwano olw'okuddingana wakati wa Titus Tugume ne Malik Kalisa mu kiseera kino lutuuza enkambi zombi obufofofu. Era nga kati ye Kalisa obuyambi abunoonyeza mu baliko abakubi b'ebikonde Charles Lubuulwa ne Adam Kasimu. Kalisa agamba nti ekimututte mu b'ebikonde kwe kuba nti ku mulundi guli Tugume yamukuba nnyo ebikonde okusinga ensambagere.
Buli kimu kye mbadde nkola kiba kigendera wamu. Sina wendekerera nti wano ndi mulungi oba wano
wonna naddayo buto nenzira ku ground work muto nenkola ki game plan yange.
Abazannyi bano bakuddingana nga 13 omwezi ogujja erugogo mu kizimbe ky'emizannyo. Malik alubirira kuwangula Tugume agenda awakanye ku ngule y'obuvanjuba bwa Africa ate Tugume ayagala kuzannya za Intercontinental. Sam Poza, NTV Akawungeezi.
Otyo empaka ez'okulonda omusajja asinga obwakanyama n'okuzimbya emifumbi omwaka guno zakuddamu okutojera wakati wa club ezisukka mu 10. Nantamego w'eggwanga Rashid Kasim ne Nantamego wa Kampala Ivan Byekwase we basuubira okukyamula abantu ennyo wali ku Eden Service Park ebwayise ku Lwokuna olw'okwosa enkya.
Empaka zino ku mulundi guno zina competition y'amaanyi kuba okwawukanako ku Mr. Kampala oba Mr. Uganda kuba Mr. Kampala oba Mr. Uganda oli ajjanga kinoomu naye kati wano za club tiimu gurupu kati kyamaanyi nnyo kuba kakati Ivan nawe agamba buziga teri agitwala ajja gikiikirira ne Kasimu aliko kati Mr. Uganda aliko kati naagamba Ntebe eno twala ekikopo Bodesensi twinayo Beni Lukwago naye awera nti kidda mu Bodesensi nenna kivuye gamba fe bajjajja b'omuzannyo guno teri kikopo gye muyinza kitwala.
This is NTV.
NTV Akawungeezi ebigenze twagala tulabe entebereza y'obudde ey'olunaku olw'enkya wano we Kampala otusinzira okuweereza bino byonna obudde busibye bukkakamu twalowoozeza nti enkuba eneetonya naye terabiseeko ebitundu ebimu weewaawo batubulidde nti wabaddeyo enkuba entonotono katulabe entebereza y'olunaku olw'enkya. Otyo NTV Akawungeezi tulabika tugimaliriza eriemu n'eddakiika 32 ekitegeeze bula 28 okukola essaawa 2 mwebale kulaba yonna gye musinzidde abantu baffe gye bali mu bitundu nga Buduuda n'awalala tujja kuba tubawa mawulire gonna mu bujjuvu okuva mu bitundu ebyo okujjako ekyo tewali kitala kyenyinza kubagamba bwe nsukka wano n'abannalwefuula nga nawolovu omulemeezi musibe bulungi amawulire amalala gajja ku ssaawa 3:05.
This is NTV.
Kwene embeera y'abasajja bano
essuubi nga lyakuggwamu mama
bano abasajja bano abasajja abanaatera n'okujja kusigiriza ffe ekiro basituleko emiwumbo gy'emmere bagitwale
sogera byange kibanda bana bagamba nga nebagamba ne bwagala nkubulira ebyange ja tugende emyanzi
mpulira abanyumya babeera bakujerega waliko omusawo w'ekinansi South Africa baba bakujerega obituufu
embeera y'abasajja bano
essuubi nga lyakuggwamu mama
bano abasajja embeera y'abasajja bano
essuubi nga lyakuggwamu mama
bano abasajja bano abasajja abanaatera n'okujja kusigiriza ffe ekiro basituleko emiwumbo gy'emmere bagitwale
sogera byange kibanda bana bagamba nga nebagamba ne bwagala nkubulira ebyange ja tugende emyanzi
mpulira abanyumya babeera bakujerega waliko omusawo w'ekinansi South Africa baba bakujerega obituufu
baba banjerega
oyo mufere mubbi yennyini yeetaaga miggo
omuntu wa bulijjo tomuzannyirangako abeeranga dormant volcano.
Bwemba mukkiriza nina takuwa mugiyita
ate takuwa gobeera mugoberezi tolowooza nti buli mulimo oyogerera omusiraamu singa naakubuuza nti Katonda yagamba bw'ati yagamba atya.
Bw'oba oli pasita ng'okyawa olimba obba oyenda olina abakazi basatu, please, heaven is waiting for you. One day you'll pay and soon your time is out.
Otiisa mmoni.
Sitiisa nkubuulira Yesu talimba.
Ebintu mbimala mulundi gumu kati what is I love peace.
Gwokola byo.
Wegase n'omusajja mutwale mabi.
Jangweno, baby. To be honest, it's one of the most scary genres of music for me. Jangweno, baby. To be honest, it's one of the most scary genres of music for me. For me every day. Irifemasi nisu tadi magero.
Forever, he does not change. And those who strive with you shall perish. I pray that which he does not change. And those who strive with you shall perish. I pray that which who has been fighting you will look at you. Fear not! God doesn't like how he wants believers.
Just walk. Pick up your leg. Pick up your legs. Pick up your legs.
I'll roll up. Put it down on me. Put it down on me. Fire flame, fire flame, spit. I'll roll up. Put it down on me. Put it down on me. Fire flame, fire flame, spit.
G6, like a G6.
I think I'm Big Meech.
I don't see nobody. I don't see nobody. It's the cataract.
Lucini pouring from the sky, let's get rich, what? You can see a man's face, but you can't see his heart. I am Wale, Oluba, we be in the party like we own that bar.
Tease me, tease me, tease me, tease me, baby.
This is NTV.
And following in the footsteps of Beethoven. Decorating a home can be exhausting and costly. Professional interior designer Stella Atal gives us tips, tricks and ideas on how to achieve the best in space and form at friendly prices.
Most of the things here are African. I have the tepsha mat. This is an antique piece from Congo. And then this is a normal black material you can find anywhere in town. So what you can do is to get like the local materials, the Western materials, and then just add a piece of African, and then you make everything change. And we come to my table, a coffee table. I love it so much. It has coffee beans inside, a lot of coffee beans. And then I use that same texture mat, and then coins, a lot of coins whenever I travel. All the balance from the coins, I just put them here so that when I start selling it, a few years to come, it's an antique and everyone can gather money to buy it. What inspires me is the African style, the African designs, whereby when I look into the safaris, African safaris, when I travel, I want to stay in an African place so that I can get ideas. I really love to stay in African places. I love the African feel, and I read a lot about Africa and its history. So that's where I get my inspiration from.
A scheme composed of primary colors, that is, red, blue, and yellow, is always popular with children. Here, red and blue are doing the balancing act, while yellow accentuates form.
Well, for the kids' room, you really have to go for the bright colors, bright kid colors, orange, yellow, red, light blue, all colors, all bright colors for kids can do. You have to make sure most of the things you use are educative. You have to make her a room or him a room where he or she can learn a few things. For the master bedroom, it's what they want in, because like most of the rooms, actually when you go to the bedroom, I think the first thing you want is to sleep, to rest. So you need really a peaceful bedroom. You don't need a congested bedroom. You only need your bed, maybe just a table where you keep your key documents, like if you want to make a call, if you want maybe to look into your business cards, and then make like a diary for maybe the following day. That's all.
So if you're decorating your home and have no idea what to do or how to do it, where to start or what direction you should take, here is a few tips.
If someone came and they don't really know what they want, first of all, I would give them samples of maybe the works I've done so far, and give them like books to look into and see the different kind of settings. Then they will come up with a color theme they want for their house. If they don't have, then we have to go to their place. Then I can, according to the setup of the rooms and then the building, it determines really the colors to use, because the brightness of the room also matters a lot when you're choosing the colors. Okay. If it's a dark room, you need a warm, cool color that would really, that helps to brighten up the wall. Like if you have a room where there is no sunshine at all, you could use like a cream, orange, or beige, because those colors, when you put them in, they brighten up the whole place. And then you don't need to put in a lot of things in that room, because if you put in much as you put cream, which is a bright color, and then you put in a lot of things in that room, it's still going to be dark. So you need to give it space. If it's Indian shiny, everything, then that one we have to really get rid of it. If it's a simple Western thing, then we have to just use, most of the time we change maybe the color of the walls. We leave maybe like the furniture and the covers. We change the color of the walls, and then we try to remove just a few things and then replace them with an African style. Right now, we're just in the process of trying to get people know about African decoration, trying to force them to appreciate what interior decoration is, to appreciate the beauty of what they have in Africa. So I think like in 5 years to come, we'll really have a good number of people, like 50% of the people at least appreciating African decoration.
we learn about one of the greatest creative minds of the Italian Renaissance. This individual was hugely influential as an artist and sculptor, but also immensely talented as an engineer, scientist, and inventor. Leonardo da Vinci was born on the 15th of April 1442 near the Tuscan town of Vinci. The illegitimate son of a local lawyer was apprenticed to a sculptor and painter, Andrea del Verrocchio, in Florence, Italy. He moved to Milan and worked as an engineer, sculptor, painter, and architect. Da Vinci was in Milan until the city was invaded by the French in 1499. He then returned to Florence. Although this is a graphic representation, no one knows what his studio really looked like, considering that he was both a scientist and artist. However, during his time in Florence, he painted several portraits. Virgin of the Rocks was the first painting executed by Leonardo after he arrived in Milan. Some people claim it shows the Immaculate Conception, while others think it recalls the moment when the infant Christ met Saint John the Baptist. This painting by Leonardo da Vinci was rediscovered in the 19th century and was immediately assumed to be a self-portrait. This sketch and the notes that go with it show how Leonardo understood the proportions of the human body. Each separate part was a simple fraction of the whole. And finally, possibly one of the most famous paintings in the world, the portrait of Mona Lisa, which is referred to as simply the Mona Lisa. Leonardo used a technique of blurring of sharp edges by blending colors to leave the corners of the eye and mouth in shadow. It is this technique that makes the Mona Lisa's expression ambiguous. The portrait has been written in countless books and publications. Artists and more recently filmmakers have also produced derivative works from the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa was one of Leonardo's favorite paintings, and he carried it with him until he died. Today, it is regarded as one of the most famous paintings in the world and is visited by thousands of people every year. This picture shows the Leonardo plaque in Amboise. Leonardo is believed to have died of paralysis on the 2nd of May at the age of 67. If all his work had been displayed in an intelligible form, Da Vinci's place as a pioneering artist would have been beyond dispute. African art, textile, patterns, animals, and colorful scenery have inspired many artists all over the world. The fashion industry has also incorporated African impressions in their designs.
A lot of the time, African culture, you know, the culture around us, the music, the people, the vibrancy. As you can see, all our fabrics are very colorful, and that's something that Africa has a lot. If you just look in the marketplace or you look at the vegetation, everything's bright and cheerful.
Anne Musisi, the co-founder of local design house Samaki, explains the coining of the name Samaki.
Samaki is a Swahili word meaning fish, and we chose the symbol of fish because we believe that fish are very much like people. They're all different shapes, different colors, different sizes. They just move in and out of life, and we felt it was a good symbol for fashion. Our fabrics are all unique designs. All those designs are created in-house, the patterns by Samaki. And as you can see, they're hand screen printed onto cotton fabrics. And then we either sell the fabric plain or we have a ready-to-wear collection. The designs are done, then they're put onto film. After they're put onto film, a screen is made, and then the process is they're silk screen printed.
This is screen printing. It's a slow process, and it would take like half an hour to 1 hour to print one piece. Once I've designed the patterns, sit down and look at them and try to get the character out of the design, what it's expressing exactly. Basing on what's in the pattern, like this has got a lot of X's, which are symbols for kisses, things like that.
Print is then dried using a fan. Samaki first showcased its collections in 2002 at the Uganda International Fashion Week with 2 depicting their house brand.
What we created was a dress in the shape of our logo, a fish in red and black, which represented the Samaki brand. And then after that, the second showpiece creation we did was a combination piece of 2 fabrics of this pattern called Feelings, 2 different colours mixed together with matting, mukeka, and it had a very high collar and very elegant sleeves. Normally we can provide fabric for them. They can go and sew it with their own tailors if they want. If they want us to also sew it, we can do that. If they like our fabric and they also want to do a design, we can advise them what colors can suit them, you know, based on their personality, if they want something quiet or if they want something shouting, or if they, depending on how they want it. At the moment we get many people coming for weddings, and people obviously are looking to do more African inspired weddings instead of the traditional white. The bride will have a tiny little part of her dress having the same, and then the dress usually that she changes will feature. As a team we brainstorm ideas, like if we're doing a collection. We have different kinds of collections, obviously, from the ready-to-wear and for those that are appearing on the catwalk, because the catwalk ones are more adventurous, extravagant, and, you know, eye-catching, whereas the ready-to-wear, they're more conservative. People want them for everyday wear, for functions, for office, for parties. So we have the different kinds. So when we meet as a team, we brainstorm the ideas, we think of the colors, the patterns we want to use, and then we look to develop them like that. The great thing about African fashion is that, and that's where we believe Samaki is in that part, that we look to Africa for our inspiration, not necessarily to Western styles or Western models, very thin models. We make clothes for the sizes, the real sizes that people are. I think the public are getting more and more interested in fashion in Uganda because there are more and more fashion designers now. I think originally people felt it was beyond their reach, it was too expensive. Even us, they felt our fabric was too expensive, but now we have many people coming here because people want something that is different. So I think that there's a growth in the fashion industry now in Uganda. Samaki is a whole team of printers, tailors, designers, people working in the shop. So there's many people that you don't actually see. At the moment, one thing as a small company that we're very keen on doing is building up the skills of our employees. So, and building up the local capacity within our company. And one of the ways that we're doing that is by letting the designers and the people in the shop take on more responsibility in terms of managing the shop and creating their own design.
Beethoven was a German composer and pianist regarded as one of the greatest composers in the history of classical music. Beethoven's first music teacher was his father, a musician in the electoral court at Bonn, who apparently was a harsh and unpredictable instructor. Beethoven usually divided into the early, middle, and later ages. In the early period, he is seen as emulating his great predecessor Mozart, while concurrently exploring new directions and gradually expanding the scope and ambition of his work. Once Beethoven started playing the piano, his talent was evident. "Watch this lad," Mozart said. "Someday he will force the world to talk about it." The middle period began shortly after Beethoven started to lose his hearing, around the age of 28. Beethoven's late ages began around 1816 and lasted until his death in 1827. His late works are greatly admired. Beethoven suffered through illness for much of his adult life. What hasn't been known is the nature of his illness and what eventually killed him in 1827. It's only recently that a team of scientists confirmed that Ludwig van Beethoven suffered from lead poisoning. Romain Roland described Beethoven's final day.
That day was tragic. There were heavy clouds in the sky. Around 4 or 5 in the afternoon, the murky clouds cast darkness in the entire room. Suddenly, a terrible storm started with blizzard and snow. Thunder made the room shudder, illuminating it with the cast reflection of lightning on snow. Beethoven opened his eyes and with a threatening gesture raised his right arm towards the sky with his fist clenched. The expression of his face was horrifying. His hand fell to the ground. His eyes closed. Beethoven was no more.
Beethoven's casket was followed by 20,000 people, almost the 10th part of Vienna's entire population at that time. Considering the depth and extent of Beethoven's artistic exploration, as well as the composer's success in making himself comprehensible to the widest possible audience, the Austrian-born British musician and writer Hans Keller pronounced Beethoven humanity's greatest mind altogether. A Ugandan pianist and organist follows in the footsteps of Ludwig van Beethoven. Paul Uja, just like Beethoven, started playing the organ in church.
Well, my inspiration has to be traced back to Namirembe Cathedral, where I was a chorister and where I'm still at, because most of my musical inspiration was because of the junior choristers, of which I was among those, and they used to be playing piano before I even started, so I thought it was something that was quite challenging.
His lessons with Fiona Carr in 1999 before we opened the school. Actually, it's because of such talent, the likes like Paul, which made us start the idea of opening this school.
Paul's success is a combination of both his inner persona and dedication to the instruments.
Wow, Paul is amazing. When you find him alone, he looks a loner. If you want to get his character, just be near him when he's playing.
Dedication, lots and lots of hours of practice, and a good teacher as well. And at the same time as well, the enthusiasm really to learn, you know, new things every time.
Paul's talent is beyond measure. He is a very quick learner and he can interpret music very, very fast.
Ugandans seem, you know, to be very good, you know, very good listeners, very good, you know, people who appreciate almost any style of music, you know. So I think Ugandans are very, very good people, and Ugandans have got a very good ear for music, you know, be it of a different style.
To me, is a future international celebrity.
That's it for this edition of the Art and Design Show. Remember, contemporary art challenges us. It broadens our horizons and makes us think beyond the limits of conventional wisdom. Join us next week. Until then, good viewing.
This is NTV.
Zebras belong to the horse family and are best known for their distinctive white and black stripes, with each zebra having its own unique pattern of stripes, just like fingerprints. There are 3 species of zebra: the plain zebra, gravy zebra, and the mountain zebra. Zebras generally stand from 4 to 5 feet at the shoulder and weigh around 300 kilograms. The largest species, gravy zebra, can weigh up to 450 kilograms. Zebras can be found in a variety of habitats, such as grasslands, savannas, woodlands, thorny scrublands, mountains, and coastal hills. When the group is alarmed, it takes to flight with the first 5 dominant females or mares in the front and the stallions bringing up the rear. Like horses, zebras walk, trot, canter, and gallop. They are generally slower than horses, but their great stamina helps them to outpace their predators. Bachelor males either live alone of other bachelors until they're old enough to challenge a breeding stallion. Like most animal species, female zebras mature earlier than males, and a mare may have her first foal by the age of 3. Zebras have a gestation period of 12 months. Zebras have a lifespan of 20 years.
Today on Rendezvous, we feature a man famous for his contemporary country music. And we count down your top 5 picks. Since his first appearing on the contemporary country music scene in 2002, Windy City native Misach Semakula has gone from singing in subways to becoming the premier soul man of Uganda's music industry. And despite this accomplishment, he is still able to keep the sound of Eagles production band alive while remaining commercially successful as a solo artist.
I always want to deliver. I always want to educate when I'm writing my songs. Njagala nnyo okuba nti bwe mpandise my song waliwo ekiyigiriza kitegedde waliwo ekiyigiriza era ever when I'm writing my songs nziramu nenga yes however much teruhitinze nnyo but if someone listens to it ayina message jajjamu. So nze target yange singa nga sinatunda luyimba nga tuluna hiti nga tuluna kola ki njagala nnyo kola luyimba nga nina kyemmanga. Konze kankulire ekindi ku mwoyo wagala kimanye nnyabo wegomba bangi naye nze mbasose bonna togeza n'omwana n'oyagala omulala.
In the ballads, Misach was able to make songs like Tukwegomba Banji, O Benita, Abakazi Abaguma, and Sigwon Simira, which turned into hits because his production was seductive enough to appeal to a love-struck mass market. As his crossover success broadened, Misach also developed a flair for country balladry that helped cement his status as one of the biggest selling male artists in Uganda.
'Tukwegomba Banji', I like it because it changed my image. As I told you that in 2004 I released that album, 'Tukwegomba Banji', and that song, people liked it very much. Yeah, I didn't expect that. Tebabajja kulwagala nnyo niki happeninga.
Misach consolidated his success with the 2005 singles Abakazi Abaguma, Sigwon Simira, Kangutendereze, just to mention but a few. Sigwon Simira has been Misach's biggest selling hit ever, with a 6-month run as the top song on the local charts. It also won him Palm Award for the Best Male Artist of the Year 2005.
In 2004, I took Best Male Artist. 2004. 2005, I took Best Male Artist of the Year, Best Live Band Single, and Best Eagles Production. I belong to Eagles Production, as I told you. So those were 4 in 2005. Plus the other Best Male of 2004. Those are 5 awards.
Ate weronda ronda ng'onkumira hani wange ojerega ddiya wange tansaanira oyiseewo nnyo w'okoma naawe.
In 2006, Misach surfaced yet again with another hit, First Aid, a song he composed from his own experience.
One time I was coming from Sweden and she started complaining, please, I'm your wife, isn't it? I said, yes, you're my wife. Nangamba naye kati bulaba nti time gy'ompa emala. As a musician, I said, kintu kino kyambuuziza kikulu nnyo kuba kyankwatako. Touched me very much. Nengamba kiteekwa okuba nga kihappeninga ne mu bantu abaki abalala. Ate nga nali sikikola nti mulumye. No. Nali sikikola nti mulumye naye I found myself nga mulumye nga mbadde sikola ki? Nga mbadde simanyi. So I decided to sing that song nga manyi happeninga ne maka g'abantu abalala mangi. Buli muntu yenna yenna abeera mu love, buli muntu yenna yenna ayagala. So First Aid, then kyenagambye nti I always njagala nnyo okuyimba ku bulamu obwa bulijjo, okwagala kya bulijjo, buli muntu yenna kaabe mulwadde, kaabe mulema, kaabeere ani, kaabeere ani. 95% buli mwana gwayagala. Tegedde. So bibamu kasita oyimba ebintu ebikwata abantu b'ebityo. Ndowooza kyekyo bye nayimbako buli omu bimukwatako.
Nze kati nsasirako kweruma ng'oli wala nga n'abasawo abakugu balabe batigumya yangu wanyabo okole emirimu gy'olo.
When you listen to my music, Kosa language means me as a person. Kosa language ki? Sina mu luyimba wempemulira.
Born in Chiwatule, a city suburb in 1977, and today married with 3 children, Misach can many times not believe his meteoric rise to fame.
Whenever I remember Jenava yona nentunula ne bwendi. Right now, it's a surprise to me. It's a surprise to me. Wantino tambulanga bantu bangamba, hey, Misach, everywhere. Nakana kato 3 years. Nakasobola recognizing that oyo Misach. So we're into a background yange from where I started music up to where I am right now. God is great.
Kulikayo mubunya okuzala kufa kulikayo mukyala kuliko omwana kulika baby munange kuliko omwana bampita taata kakati ng'onyambye nkuse bwe mu bulumi bwo nze mwenfunye ekitiibwa.
Ndekankole Byenjagala is another of Misach's hits. The idea was conceived after an overly enthusiastic fan turned into his stalker.
There's a guy yagalanga every minute. Ntambula bwenti agamba abantu, you see how it's working, you see okitegeera ng'omuntu bw'atyo okubeerawo ng'oli ng'amala time ye nnene nnyo akutunuulira nnyo alaga abantu your mistakes everything. I said no, you're not supposed. And I sat down and like how I do always. Simanyi kuyomba, simanyi kolachi, but I use my pen and my voice, my talent, okugamba kuya abantu awanya. So through that song, namugamba good enough n'ategeera nti ngamba ye, so I can't mention linnya lisobola kuli mention here, but yalekerawo era najja n'agamba I'm sorry, I didn't know that nkuhatinga, and now we are friends.
Misach began singing at a tender age and continued with his career throughout school. Apart from local artists like Jimmy Katumba and Philly Lutaya, Misach was mainly inspired by the urban R&B producer, vocalist, instrumentalist, and singer R. Kelly.
I like music from my childhood. Apart from ogamba nti no oba ono yaskiriza nasooka nimba nga nze kenyini nga ndi interested in music. Then after that, I liked Phil Lutaya's music very much, and Jimmy Katumba in Uganda. From outside Uganda, I liked Rakadiobe very much, and Arakeri. Those are my musicians.
Since he began his career as a singer, Misach has two cherished memories.
The day when I first heard my song on the radio station, and that was 2000. That was 1998. It was Mlinda Muonge was playing that song on CBS FM. Natambula njogera ngamba my friends, have you heard my song? Have you heard my song on CBS? Have you heard my song on CBS? Kwega namalako like a week. Another day lunaku. The Rampa Award, the Artist of the Year. I couldn't believe that until Sowola.
Coming up on Rendezvous. And coming up on Rendezvous, we count down the hottest local music videos.
Number 5.
Mechoka na mahipokriti, meshiba na maparaziti. Mechoka kumona besti wangu na madui wangu wanapofurahi wote. Koye koye the hypocrite, koye koye the parasite. Koye 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 zenga mupana wange kenyini angakaza kufa. Nilikuwa na besti wangu ni kama ndugu wangu, ndiye anajua siri zangu na kila inachouzi moyo wangu, yote yanajua hata iwe mali zangu. Nilimsaidia na vyangu nikamupa, hata kidogo kenye nacho nikatoa.
Number 4.
Love each other in every way. Be my lover, truthfully. I'll be yours faithfully. I'll make you happy, make you smile. I'll make you love me all the time. It took me long to realize you're the one that I you. Baby, come on to me, I like the way you want. And it's feel you. Baby, come on to me, you know you hypnotize me. Love you. Ooh, I like the way you love me, baby. Hold you. Oh, baby.
Number 3. Number 2.
Tell them liquor you know if you know. No, yeah, we are go kill them with you know. Anyway, ding it shot, ding it shot, ding it shot, ding it shot. Oh, anyway, go wana pangalia. Ding it shot, ding it shot, ding it shot, ding it shot. Oh, sisi wote tunakuzimia. Ding it shot, ding it shot, ding it shot, ding it shot. Oh, anyway, go wana pangalia. Ding it shot, ding it shot, ding it shot, ding it shot. Oh, sisi wote tunakuzimia. Ukiingia club kila mtu anakufai. Kila chali anatamani kukupa hai. Ulivogea na mimi hukusema bye. Uliniacha vibaya karibu ni dai. You're so wonderful, beautiful girl. Natamani kuone Monday to Sunday, lakini bado na promise hadi someday. Nakusubiri unapendeza baby anyway. Tingisha, 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 tingisha. Oh, aliwengo wanakuangalia. Tingisha, 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 tingisha. Oh, sisi wote tunakuzimia. Tingisha, 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 tingisha. Oh, aliwengo wanakuangalia. Tingisha, tingisha.
Number 1.
selector, push up everything. The selector, push up everything. Get this alpha bar.
I'm in love with the Ugandan girl. This girl, she rocks my world. I never knew a girl like this. I'm in love with the Ugandan girl. This girl, she rocks my world. I never knew a girl like this.
Let's get living in the Makola baka shake girl, slim body girl. Wallimpa boompa, show me some love. American girl, Jamaican girl, the England girl. Listen, Ugandan girl are the best, better than the race. I must confess. K is alpha said that. Girl, slim body brown girl, yet on me under where you lick up your lips, roll up your eyes. Ugandan girl are the best, number one.
I'm in love with the Ugandan girl. This girl, she rocks my world. I never knew a girl like this. I'm in love with the Ugandan girl. This girl, she rocks my world. I never knew a girl like this.
You got me lazy, sometimes so easy. Girl, I'm so crazy, so crazy, so crazy. People like I no get this. Don't get afraid, I me everything. Number one, God, no one that can take your place. You gone down, girl, are the best, the best. A look in your eyes make me realize so me one thing, no one that can take your place. I am making pretty, don't get afraid. Me, you need to get better, yeah. Remember that.
I'm in love with the Ugandan girl. This girl, she rocks my world. I never knew a girl like this. I'm in love with the This girl, she rocks my world. I never knew a girl like this. Ugandan girl, Ugandan girl, Ugandan girl. Kwagala nyuma.
Put you by my side, girl, I don't need that thing. Cause you make everything pretty, you show none that. We go put it, juke it, cook it, put it up. Because you tell me you're more than you can say that.
I'm in love with the Ugandan girl. This girl, she rocks my world. I never knew a girl like this. I'm in love with the Ugandan girl. This girl, she rocks my world. I never knew a girl like this. I'm in love with the Ugandan girl. This girl, she rocks my world. I never knew a girl like this. I'm in love with the Ugandan girl. This girl, she rocks my world. I never knew a girl like this.
This is NTV.
is part of the antelope genus and is native to Western, Central, Eastern and Southern Africa. It has a reddish-brown shaggy coat which progressively grows darker with maturity and a white bib under the throat. It is generously covered with thin brownish oily grease that has a distinct musky odor. It's easily recognized by a distinctive white band on the rump encircling the tail and the long bowl-shaped ring up to 100 centimeters long. The female has no horns. buck stands up to 1.3 meters at the shoulder and weighs from 160 to 240 kilograms. The waterbuck grows in small herds in marshes, scrub and savanna areas near water, where they mainly eat grass and require large quantities of water, hence their partiality to water bodies. Share a social life similar to that of the cobs. They are territorial, and a herd usually has one dominant. Young males form bachelor herds, which are a training ground for the bucks to perfect their skills in order to go and fight the dominant male and take over the herd of females. This is part of their training process, and they will choose a partner according to their horns, which must be the same size. These wrestling matches are preparing them for a major territorial fight with a dominant male in order to take over a leg in the traditional breeding grounds. Waterbucks will give birth to a single calf after a 7 to 8 month gestation period. Waterbucks have a lifespan of 18 years.
Today on Showcase Uganda, it's a fabulous adventure into the wilds of Queen Elizabeth National Park to encounter its magnificent animals and relax in the enchanting environment of its lodges. The morning, although chilly and slowly getting light, we were instantly awakened by the sight of this largest land mammal alive. This is the African elephant, and the place is Queen Elizabeth National Park. Home to the animals like the elephants, hippos, buffalo, and the unique Ugandan kobe, Queen Elizabeth National Park was established in 1954 and is bordered to the north by the Rwenzori Mountains and to the west by Lake Edward. The second largest national park in Uganda at 1,978 square kilometers, it lies north and south of the equator in the southwest of Uganda within the Western Rift Valley. The park is easily accessible by both air and road and offers stunning views of a diversity of biolife. It encompasses The best way to discover the vast array of wildlife in the park is to go on a guided game drive, either early in the morning or late in the afternoon, which will bring you closer to the park's fabulous diversity. An early morning encounter with the elephant is an awesome and thrilling experience. Elephants live in a very structured social order. The social lives of male and female elephants are very different. The females spend their entire lives in tightly knit family groups made up of mothers, daughters, sisters, and aunts. These groups are led by the eldest female or matriarch. The elephant's gestation period is 22 months, the longest of any land animal. the mother, is accompanied by other adult females or aunts that protect the young. Baby elephants are raised and nurtured by the whole family group, practically from the moment they are born. Most immediate family groups range from 5 to 15 adults, as well as a number of immature males and females. Adult males, on the other hand, live mostly solitary lives, but they will occasionally form loose associations with other males. These groups are called bachelor herds. Only the most dominant males will be permitted to breed with cycling females. Another animal which is unique to the pack is the Ugandan kob. It's mostly active in the morning and late afternoon. The kob is a territorial animal and has a lek mating system in which males defend small territories clustered on traditional mating grounds. The male mark their territory using urine and will patrol its boundaries, often whistling loudly. Territory is the smallest and most highly contested in the center of the lek, where most matings occur. The female will mate only with the stronger males, apparently to produce strong offspring which will survive in the jungle. Females begin to mate at the age of 1, but males must normally wait for several more years. Females breed and males provide no parental care. Females give birth to a single offspring after a gestation period of around 9 months. When Showcase Uganda returns, experience the boat cruise along the Kazinga Channel. Other intriguing wildlife species found within the Queen Elizabeth National Park include the waterbuck, which is part of the antelope genus and shares a social life similar to that of the cobs. In the waterbuck's bachelor group, it's a common sight for the antlers of the waterbucks to clash as the animals wrestle with edge mates. This is part of their training process, and they will choose a partner according to their horns, which must be the same size. These wrestling matches are preparing them for a major fight with the dominant male in order to take over a lick. Another animal which is prolific within the pack is the buffalo.
Okay.
It is common to come upon herds of buffalo grazing in the mornings and evenings. The herd of female buffaloes with young is led by a dominant matriarch and often accompanied by a single adult bull. Other males lead solitary lives or form bachelor herds of about 10. Young males spar with each other to assert dominance but avoid serious fighting. They mix with females at mating time. The park's dominant feature is the Kazinga Channel, which links Lake Edward to Lake George and provides a rich habitat for both mammals and birds. The 32-kilometer-long channel offers brilliant wildlife viewing opportunities to visitors who come to the park for a close encounter with its magnificent animals in all their natural splendor. It is a meeting ground for many of the animals in the park. The gigantic elephant will come to spend time playing in the water to cool down. The channel is also famed to have the world's largest concentration of hippos. It is indeed an amazing sight to behold at such close quarters and in such abundance, as they continuously dive and resurface after about 6 minutes to take in air and play around in the water. They live in large herds with one dominant male, and as they're nocturnal animals, they feed mostly at night, coming on land to eat grass. During one night, an individual hippo may wander up to 7 kilometers, but usually the buffalo also, during the midday heat especially, frequently wallows in water or muddy pools, sometimes almost completely submerged, with only its nostrils showing, surrounded by a vast array of birds. Apart from keeping it cool, wallowing helps to remove skin parasites, biting flies, and other pests on its body. Though not as numerous as the hippos, crocodiles too have become a common sight in the channel. Despite their large adult size, crocodiles start their life at around 20 centimeters long. They're very fast over short distances, even out of water. Crocodiles are ambush hunters, waiting for fish or land animals to come close, then rushing out to attack. Despite their slow appearance, crocodiles are the top predators in their environment. The park is said to be home to more than 600 species of birds, and as you cruise along you will see the Goliath heron, which stands over 1 meter tall, the ibis and the yellow-beaked stork. Other key species include the African fish eagle, marshal eagle, and papyrus ganolek. This uniquely unparalleled launch trip provides an awesome tropical experience that is hard to beat.
The scenery, it's beautiful. I actually grew up in a beautiful part of the United States. This is in high competition. It's just gorgeous. That's why I wanted to do the tour, just because it's all outside. The weather's great. We actually went through the equator today, which was really cool. Never done that before. What else? The food is really great. The people are amazing. Everybody I've met has just been really, really kind.
I have enjoyed the most seeing the animals, and I'm watching a hippopotamus right now running away, which is very unusual because I didn't think they could. Especially the animals, but in Uganda especially, I have enjoyed the people we've met individually have been quite charming, and the children have been very respectful.
When Showcase returns, the breathtaking accommodation available for any holiday maker. After an enchanting day out in the wild, it is gratifying to come back, relax, and relive the day's adventures from the comfort of Mwea Safari Lodge. Located on a peninsula overlooking the Kazinga Channel on one side, this lodge provides some of the best accommodation and service facilities available within the Queen Elizabeth National Park.
Mwea Safari Lodge is based in Queen Elizabeth National Park, which is part of the Western Rift Valley, which stretches all the way down from Kenya all the way into Malawi, and we're part of that Western Rift. The facilities you have in Mwea, okay, we have got 51 rooms. You've not only have you got your single rooms and your double rooms, you've also got our cottages and our family rooms. We have what we call a Wenzori cottage, which sleeps a family of 6, and then you also have your other cottages which can sleep a family of 4, which is the royal cottage. And obviously the facilities here are designed for families too, because you have your swimming pool here, which the guests can actually sit out by the pool and have a nice cool drink and a sundowner. And also we have what we call our health centre.
Also within the park, which is famed for its profuse diversity and eco-friendly atmosphere, and for those who crave the then the Jacana Safari Lodge is right up your alley. Set on the edge of a crater lake, the lodge blends in perfectly with the wooded surroundings of the Maramagambo forest. Built with sensitive use of rock and other natural materials, it combines to create a unique traditional style. Each lodge cabin is beautifully and uniquely furnished to achieve a traditional elegance. It is a common occurrence to frolic in the warm waters of the swimming pool or enjoy the rays of the African sun under the playful eyes of the colobus monkeys, which are numerous in the forest. Breakfast at Jacana is an adventure in itself, as you will be entertained by the antics of the monkeys in the nearby trees. On occasion, they will impudently dare to share your meal.
It is very, very, very nice, peacefully, very kind service. I like the people very much, and our guide yesterday explained a lot of nice things about the forest and the bed. Hoe heette die dingen? The caves, yes. Was very, very interesting. The stay here was very good, very, very good.
A floating dining area on the crater lake provides a tranquil and romantic option for sundowners and dinner in the evenings, an ideal environment for honeymooners and nature lovers. For those interested in a low-budget alternative, other facilities exist within the park's grounds in designated areas. One cannot leave Queen Elizabeth without paying a visit to the Salt Lake. Here, you get to see how salt is mined locally and its different grades. Arrangement with the park authorities, the local people, especially the women, participate in salt mining. A tour to the Queen Elizabeth National Park is an experience which everyone should strive to achieve at least once in a lifetime.
With a body weight of up to 2 tons, the hippopotamus rivals the white rhinoceros as the second largest living land animal. It averages 3.5 meters long and 1.5 meters tall at the shoulder. Its name means river horse and it's semi-aquatic, inhabiting rivers and lakes in the grassland portions of sub-Saharan Africa. The hippopotamus is recognizable for its enormous barrel-shaped hairless body, big broad head and stubby legs. Even though it's a bulky animal, a hippo runs almost as fast as a human at 30 miles per hour. It's brownish grey on top with a light pink color underneath. The hippopotamus has its ears, nose and eyes positioned on top of its head so it can remain submerged and still monitor what's going on around it. A hippo spends most of its day lazing in the water with its top exposed and occasionally basking on a sandbar. When it submerges, it closes its nostrils and ears so water won't get in. It emerges every 4 to 6 minutes to breathe. The process of surfacing and breathing is automatic, and even a hippo sleeping underwater will rise and breathe without waking. Hippopotami live in herds with the largest pod animals, with one dominant male presiding over a stretch of the river. The hippopotamus is herbivorous and nocturnal. It comes out of the water at night to graze and can eat up to 68 kilograms of vegetation in one night. Female hippos reach reproductive prime at 5 to 6 years of age, while males at around 7.5 years. Mating takes place in the water, with the female submerged for most of the encounter. Hippos have a gestation period of 8 months. The female hippopotamus will go off by herself to have her calf. She will then stay away from the herd for anywhere from 10 to 44 days. A hippo's lifespan is typically 40 to 50 years.
This is NTV. This is NTV.
Nearly 100 people remain unaccounted for
as the human cause of the Bududa landslides continues to emerge. Tonight, a day after the devastating Bududa district's landslides, the country is still coming to terms with the tragedy.
And as it is in such situations, many questions are being asked, given that such natural disasters have occurred before. Could something have been done to reduce the impact? Have we as a country failed to learn from similar incidents in the past? And for example, should the people in the mudslide-prone areas have been relocated to safer areas?
On tonight's edition of NTV Tonight, we are seeking answers to these and more questions.
And even more importantly, we want to hear from you, so be sure to have your say on tonight's NTV poll.
Good evening and a warm welcome to Tuesday's edition of NTV Tonight. Let's now take a look at the rest of the headlines. Cheating death. Survivors recount moments before the Bududa landslide struck.
And the lessons not learned. The blame game starts as the country comes to terms with yet another landslide disaster.
3 children killed, 15 injured as lightning strikes a school in PG district. A very good evening and thank you for joining us here on NTV Tonight. I am Faith Ariho.
And I am Gabriel Epeno. Welcome to the program. Tonight, nearly 100 people remain unaccounted for, even as the government called off rescue efforts following yesterday's landslides that devastated the eastern Uganda district of Bududa.
The deluge submerged some 4 villages that had about 29 homes in them.
The Minister for Relief and Disaster Preparedness, Dr. Stephen Malinga, says 10 people were rescued so far, but said there was no hope that any more victims could be found alive, effectively turning the exercise into a recovery operation of the missing bodies.
Chris Ochamringa begins tonight's comprehensive coverage of the Bududa landslides.
The landslide that occurred yesterday in the 4 villages of Buna Kasala, Buna Mulembwa, Mabaya and Walwanyi has brought a lot of grief to the locals, whose relatives and friends are believed to be still buried under the mounds of mud. There are, however, conflicting accounts on the death toll from the locals and authorities. The Minister for Relief and Disaster Preparedness, Dr. Stephen Malinga, speaking at a news conference in Kampala, said 10 people had been rescued.
10 people have been rescued and admitted at Bududa Hospital. We are using that as the evacuation place at the moment, and we are going to send technical people from the Ministry of Health to care for these people.
It's believed that some 90 people have so far not been accounted for, and there are fears that their bodies could be trapped under the mounds of mud. Officially, both the government and the Red Cross are so far putting the death toll at 18, but that does not factor in the number of those unaccounted for. According to a ministry document that NTV has obtained, the disaster preparedness officials have lost hope in getting any more survivors and consequently called off rescue operations. Just 2 years ago, a similar tragedy happened in Bududa district, claiming the lives of hundreds of people. Now the government says its long-term plan is to relocate the people living around the slopes of the mountains, but the authorities say that that has proved a difficult task for them.
There is always resistance. These people especially, the soil in that area is volcanic soil, which is very fertile. They grow matoke, cabbages, tomatoes, all the vegetables in Mbale come from high up in the mountains.
In relocating people, we don't use force. We are not supposed to force them.
Figures from the ministry indicate that a population of 220 people have been displaced from the area and 70 houses designated as too risky for the people to live in. The government officials are apparently laying out plans of resettling the displaced people in other safer areas of the country.
There are areas with a lot of land, places like Kamwenge, Chenjojo. There is a lot of land, and those people can be easily relocated.
This tragedy has brought to the fore the vulnerability of scores of people living along mountainous areas in different parts of the country with absolutely no protection whatsoever when disasters strike. Chris Ochamringa, NTV.
Now, out of those who miraculously cheated death yesterday, 10 people are being treated for their injuries at Bududa Referral Hospital. Meanwhile, on the ground, locals are using machetes, hoes and spades as they search for the victims as a result of the landslides that hit the area yesterday afternoon. Residents say that if it hadn't been market day, the meaning that many people had left their villages, there could have been many more casualties. Sudhir Byaruhanga is in Bududa and brings us the survivors' tales.
Since yesterday afternoon, these men have tirelessly cleared heaps of soil under which over 20 people are feared buried after landslide hit Bonakasala village in Bududa district at around 2 p.m. It is understood to be the first time in which the region has been hit by a landslide on a dry day. Locals say that it last rained on Sunday.
A family of the names of Mr. Uteya, he lost a wife and 4 children. Then there was another homestead whereby we lost a mother and a father.
According to locals, what saved the lives of other residents is the fact that it was a market day. Therefore, many had left their homes on slopes of Mount Elgon. After efforts have been made in vain to find the missing people, this is all they have found so far in this house after digging for nearly 10 hours. Nobody knows the whereabouts of these children whose future could have been brought to a tragic end. For a large number of people who are homeless, they simply have nowhere to start from but consider themselves lucky for surviving this catastrophe.
Yani nilikuwa na watoto watatu. Sasa hao watoto watatu nikasukuma wakaenda huko. Mmoja akaniambia tumeenda na tumeacha mtoto mmoja kwa nyumba. Sasa kukimbia kuenda kuchukua huyo mtoto mmoja kwa nyumba nikaona chini inatititika tu hivi.
Na nyumba yako vile. These 2 children are recovering from the shock of what they witnessed.
The boy was there down, and when they saw the landslide, they also moved away by running.
The trees that you're seeing downhill here were formerly on the slopes of the hill, but they were washed away by the landslide. The people are trying their best to ensure that they retrieve at least one single body by the end of the day. But their hopes of getting one are diminishing by every minute. But as we talk right now, the skies are opening up and more people could be at risk.
But what I have requested the local leaders here and the police to use pressure to get my people, first of all, out of those ridges and then even out of this particular place. Because,
however, there are no signs here on the ground of efforts to relocate the locals, and no specific areas for them to relocate have been made available. According to Red Cross officials, 447 people are at a risk of falling victim in the same district, where a landslide killed over 300 people back in January 2010. Sudhir Byaruhanga, NTV.
Meanwhile, environment experts are warning of more landslides in Bududa district if the rains continue. The grim statement coming just a day after a landslide devastated 2 villages in the area is based on the analysis of the topography of the area, the type of soil and tree cover. Craig Kadoda reports.
Scar is what is left after the land in Bududa gave way yesterday at 2 p.m. following 2 days of rains that experts estimate to have been 50 millimeters. This is one of the areas that environmental experts predicted could suffer landslides a few weeks ago. Communities have for long settled here after clearing steep slopes to build houses and cultivate crops along the slopes despite calls for them to relocate.
From what I can see, the terrain, it was a depression, and depressions are areas where water collects. And where you have water collecting, it sinks down into the soil structure, saturating the soil, and you have high pressure in the soil, which makes the slope to fail. And when it fails, the soils run down the slope. Unfortunately, if you have villages down, that's when you have loss of life. So that's what could have happened in Bududa.
The area has clay soils which have a high water retention capacity and sit 3 meters deep off the rock surface. Over the years, the very light soils have accumulated pressure and been worn thin by erosion. This has in turn created a lump of debris that are deposited in the valley. Against this backdrop, Authorities are warning that this mountainous and densely populated area could see worse.
And more cracks are appearing, and wherever you have a crack, that is a sign that the slope, already now the downward forces are overpowering those which hold the slope. So definitely it will take its time, but you'll get a slide.
To the experts, relocation is only a short-term solution. They instead suggest trees with a dense root cover should be planted or crops like coffee. But the experts also blame the government institutions like health and education for extending the services to such areas that are prone to landslides, which encourages the residents to stay even when their lives are at risk. Kwekadoda, NTV.
Now, following the series of mudslides that have occurred in Uganda in the recent past, a number of government pledges were made, but not all of these were adhered to. These include relocating all the people from Bududa to Kyerandongo, building schools and startup incomes for those that were affected. However, on the other hand, the government notes that the people from Bududa are to blame due to the fact that they have been warned before to leave the area as a precaution. Maurice Ochol now tells us some of the lessons not learned in as far as the natural disasters are concerned.
It was back in January 2010 when devastating landslide struck the district of Bududa, leading to the death of hundreds of people. This forced the government to resettle the people of Bududa, but it wasn't easy. Kyerandongo was one of the places that were selected to resettle many of them. The government also committed itself to resettling people to other areas, but it wasn't fulfilled.
That we can do is to get relocated. We need to go to safer places.
I think we are going to discuss with the district and we see how best these people can be relocated because they are real at risk.
For those that were resettled in Kyerandongo, a number of issues arose, such as the building of schools and providing them with the startup incomes, among others. And it was here in Kyerandongo that some of them were given such houses to settle in something that the public viewed as unfair.
This was somebody's house, but because of the strong winds that are now here, it has destroyed this tarpaulin.
Now some of the legislators from the 9th Parliament think government should have gone further.
I think the Ministry of Disaster Preparedness is a bit relaxed. We have to save people's lives as government. It's one of the roles government has to do.
Maurice Ochol, NTV.
Well, in our NTV poll tonight, we want to hear from you on this issue. We are asking, do you think residents of landslide-prone areas like those in Bududa district should be forcibly relocated from their homes? Do you think the residents of landslide-prone areas like those in Bududa should be forcibly relocated from their homes?
To have your say, text 8778 followed by yes and a no, as well as your name and where you're texting from, and we shall be reading some of your comments during tonight's newscast, as well as bringing you the final poll result for tonight. Now moving on, 2 primary school pupils have died alongside their teacher after lightning struck them while in school at Kajaga Parents Primary School in Kamengo Sub-County, found in PG District. 12 others were rushed to PG Hospital. 7 of them have been discharged, while 5 are still in a critical condition. Also, unconfirmed reports by residents indicate that 3 pupils and their teacher from Gunda Primary in Chibisi village died from lightning in another village.
A somber mood prevails in Andrew Tumujira's homestead. Non-stop crying, empty gazes, questioning faces are what the lens of our camera meets. A son, Irisaka Torebe, has been lost in this family.
I reached the hospital. I saw my child is already dead. I did the doctor.
At 2 p.m. on Monday, a heavy storm fell in PG District. By 2:30 p.m., as it intensified, lightning struck dead Irisaka Turebe, a 13-year-old primary 6 pupil from Kajaga Parents Primary School in Kamengo Sub-County, together with Mega Nakazi and their teacher, King Pius. Erisa's younger brother in primary 4 survived. Erisa is going to be buried here today in Chagalanyin in PG district. Another one, a colleague, a 17-year-old girl, is being buried in Kalangala district. Even their teacher died and is being buried today. It seems like the rains are on and with a heavy force. Their death certificates were filled out from PG Hospital, where they were taken together with 12 other pupils who narrowly survived the jaws of death.
Nengwa wansi netandiko kwa kumuliro kubigere nemvayo nengenda mp6 nagenza tuka mp6 nga baliyo barajana.
They were feeling shock, they were feeling pain, they were crying of pain. They did not want to touch them anywhere, so some of them were even unable to walk. They've improved. The rest who were severely injured, they've remained on the ward.
Back at school, the writings on this blackboard were the last made by King Pius, the teacher, just moments before lightning fatally struck him. Strewn on the ground following the fierce storm are the shoes of the deceased pupils, a puzzle for the teachers who were told that wearing shoes can save someone during lightning.
They have to sit down, avoid the noise in the windows. They have to open them wide. The very last measure is getting lightning conductor gadgets.
These they cannot afford, and they are appealing to the district authorities to help supply to various schools. Some of the pupils who escaped unscathed later returned to the school to collect their books. They could not hold back the tears at the fresh memories of their lost colleagues. Last year, between May and July, about 30 pupils died when lightning struck their schools, with the highest reported deaths at Runyanya Primary School in Kiriandongo district. Now, the rains have once again begun with a degree of ferocity. Florence Nalimba, NTV PG district.
Well, after what is an undeniably first segment of NTV Tonight, let's now take a short break. But here's what you can expect when we return.
A case of mistaken identity. Residents ponder the fate of a suspected night runner.
And on the farm tonight, farmers take to simsim growing in the central region. NTV Tonight continues after this short break. Stay tuned.
This is NTV.
And forever, he does not change. He does not change.
And those who strive with you shall perish. I pray that which who has been fighting you will look at you. Fear not! God doesn't like cowards. He wants believers.
Just walk. Pick up your leg. Pick up your legs. Pick up your legs.
Kwene embeera y'abasajja bano
essuubi nga lyakugwamu mama
bano abasajja abana, abana, abasajja. Abana atera n'okujja kusigiriza ffe ekiro basituleko emiwumbo gy'emmere bagitwale.
Sogera byange kibanda bana bagamba nga bagamba ne bwagala nkubulira ebyange jatugende emyanzi
mpulira banyumya babeera bakujerega waliko omusawo w'ekinnansi e South Africa
embeera y'abasajja bano
essuubi nga lyakugwamu mama
bano abasajja abana atera n'okujja kusigiriza ffe ekiro basituleko emiwumbo gy'emmere bagitwale.
Sogera byange
Tubanda bana bagamba nga bagamba ne bwagala nkubulira ebyange jatugende emyanzi.
Mpulira banyumya babeera bakujerega waliko omusawo w'ekinnaasi. South Africa baba bakujerega obituufu.
Baba banjerega. Oyo mufere mubbi yennyini yeetaaga miggo. Omuntu wa bulijjo tomuzannyirangako abeeranga dormant volcano.
Bwemba mukkiriza nina takuwa mugiyita.
Ate takuwa gobeera mugoberezi. Tolowooza ndi buli mulimo gwonna oyogerera omusiraamu singa naakubuuza nti Katonda yagamba atya.
Oba oli pasita ng'okyawa olimba obba oyenda olina abakazi basatu. Please, heaven is waiting for you. One day you'll pay, and soon your time is.
Welcome back. This is NTV Tonight. We start with a reminder of our NTV poll question for tonight and some of your responses. We asked, do you think the residents of landslide-prone areas like those in Bududa district should forcibly be relocated from their homes? I'll say that again. Do you think that residents of landslide-prone areas like those in Bududa should be forcibly removed from their homes?
Well, to have your say, text 8778, then yes or no, followed by your name and where you are texting from. Let's now take a look at some of your comments so far.
Okay, Godwin Gito, you say yes, they should be relocated immediately because Bududa has turned into a ticking time bomb.
And Ahabwe Michael says, of course, since they can't seem to learn from their past experiences or trust the experts to do this on their own.
Well, an overwhelming number of you that have responded seem to agree that the residents of areas such as those in Bududa should be relocated. 84% actually of you do agree with that, while 16% of you say no.
Well, stay tuned as we shall be bringing you more comments and tonight's final poll result at tonight's tail end.
Okay, moving on. The anti-corruption lawmakers have opened a fresh campaign with a plan to move a private member's bill that will cause amendments in the Anti-Corruption Act of 2009 so that property and wealth acquired through corruption means are confiscated and attached by government.
The Anti-Corruption Amendment Bill 2012, if enacted into law, could also properties owned by or controlled by a close relative and associates, including those abroad, attached.
Here's Jingo Francis.
The World Bank estimates that Uganda loses approximately 500 billion shillings annually to corruption. This is happening amidst institutional and legislative government efforts to curb the vice. And Uganda has continued to be ranked among one of the most corrupt countries in the world. Even though government through the Inspector General of Government, the IGG, the Minister of Ethics and Integrity, the Directorate of Public Prosecution, alongside the anti-corruption laws, the cancer continues. Now lawmakers are planning to move a private member's bill to tighten the noose against the corrupt.
We are also ensuring that even if you die, the property you owned and controlled 10 years before the date of your death, 10 years back, there are also properties which are considered to be proceeds of a corruption act, including a de facto spouse or an ex-spouse, a daughter, an uncle, an aunt, a nephew, niece, grandparent and grandchild of that person, whether by birth, adoption or marriage. So anybody within that circle, that property will be confiscated and forfeited to the state.
You meet people and they say, if I have an opportunity to steal $1 billion or two and put up an arcade somewhere, even if they take me to prison for 3 years,
I am independent. If along the way anything happens, some of us will come at the forefront.
Somebody has embezzled over 100 million, that because he has agreed or she has agreed or she has been found guilty, then they fine that person 20 million. How will government gain?
I will give an example of these IDs. The money was released. Then later, they say now people are going to pay for the cards. Now, do you see how far the situation is appalling in Uganda? It is total theft.
Makinde East MP John Simbwa, Ntenjeru South MP Patrick Nsanja, Nakaseke South MP Sempala Mbuga, among others, have vowed to push for the amendments in the Act, which will also go for the properties of the dead and abroad.
People have been adored because of corruption. Family members adore you because you are corrupt. Even if you acquire property outside or you transfer it outside,
it is also attachable according to our bill.
Corruption in Uganda has been described as a cancer that is eating up this nation. With these amendments to the Anti-Corruption Act, it is hoped that corruption will be reduced in the country. Jingo Francis, NTV, Parliament.
Now let's take a look at more stories making news across Uganda tonight. Court has adjourned hearing of evidence incriminating suspects in police officer John Michael Ariong's murder trial to the 26th of June. This after Defense Counsel Medad Segona argued that they had not been served with copies of the case sheet by prosecution prior to the start of hearing today.
They wanted to say that we should have gone and applied before them for the same documents. We said we cannot. We made the application before court. We cannot go to an adversary to say we are applying for documents. So I think the ambush cannot work. It's a trick that cannot work. Indefinitely, as we've seen, it has failed for them.
The suspects include FDC leader Dr. Kiza Besige, Lord Mayor Elias Lukwago, Kampala Woman MP Nabila Sempala, and FDC Women's League leader Ingrid Turinawe, among others. The state was to produce the first witness today when hearing was scheduled to commence following the release of 10 others late last month for lack of sufficient evidence.
In other news, a cross-section of leaders from Kasese are demanding that it be split into 3 different districts. The petitioners who brought their cause to Parliament argue that the district is too big both geographically and population-wise as well.
You know, Kasese has been a conflict zone, but also looking at the population. As for now, Kasese is the second largest in terms of population in Uganda, following Arua.
You saw the commissioning of road equipments. We are the largest district, but then we got just only 1 when others got 3 or 4. So we would get this opportunity.
These two, they add, has hampered service delivery to the people there.
Meanwhile, Ishaka Bushenyi Municipality Member of Parliament-elect Odo Tayebwa has been sworn in this afternoon as Parliament resumed business after a 1-month recess.
I, Tayebwa Odo, swear in the name of the Almighty God, have found that I will faithfully and bear true allegiance to the Republic of Uganda, and that I will preserve, protect, defend the Constitution. So help me God.
Tayebwa polled 7,048 votes, edging his main rival and NRM flag bearer Nasser Basajabalaba by over 2,000 votes in a hotly contested race. The Court of Appeal in April ordered fresh elections in the municipality after the judges found Nasser to have indulged in voter bribery during the 2011 parliamentary election campaigns.
Finally, a man accused of night running was caught and paraded before residents of Nakabugo village in Bura along Michiana Road, much to their amusement. Those who apprehended the man say they stumbled upon him running stark naked, leading them to believe he is a night runner. However, other residents say that they suspect he could be a thug and was only disguising himself by stripping after being caught. But those who have encountered the man elsewhere claimed he could be mentally unwell and may have strayed into the village unknowingly. He was later bundled and taken to the area police station. Now, according to the Food and Agriculture Organization, Uganda is one of the top 3 countries producing simsim in Africa, and it's the 5th leading producer. However, the government has not yet started exporting the crop, with only farmers in the private sector so far doing it. This edible oil crop is predominantly grown across the northern parts of the country. On the farm this week, we meet 2 farmers in Kayunga, in the central part of Uganda, who have gained a lot from growing simsim despite the weather pattern changes, poor planting patterns, and pest and disease attacks.
Bubala nafunamu baafu ejo emu nagenda okulaba nendaba nti kino kigenda maaso nengenda naye maaso paka kumbi.
And she has been using the hoe alone for 10 years now to grow simsim with minimal help from her grandchildren, who are most often in school. For Jaja Nabidio, Simsim has solely survived on nature. While cutting it from the field, it's easy. The main challenge for Jaja remains constant. The sun is also an enemy. The uncertainty may cause her to have lower yields. According to the Department of Crop Science at Makerere University, in their overview of the agronomic constraints to simsim production in Uganda, they cite various factors for the low yields. Poor management practices such as inappropriate fertilizer levels, poor soil fertility, which receives low rainfall, yet simsim is a rain-fed crop, and imbalanced nutrition. Intercropping also needs improvement to realize its full benefits. Most farmers grow the crop as an intercrop, especially with groundnut and maize, but don't know how to care for it. Plant population and spacing when poorly done leads to low yield as well. Planting it in rows eases weeding and increases growth and the yield. Simsim is also susceptible to pests and diseases, causing root and stem rot. All these factors are limiting the country's launch into exporting simsim. It is just being considered as a potential crop for export, but for the farmers in Kayunga, the crop has various benefits. Zainab Nansamba has been growing simsim for 7 years, and she has bought a plot of land from the sales as well as taking her children to school. After realizing that a kilogram for simsim sold higher than other crops like beans, Nansamba became persistent. In importance, simsim ranks second to groundnuts in the country, and like groundnut is now one of the most expensive crops in Uganda. The two ladies, Nansamba and Jaja Nabidio, are not the only farmers of simsim. In Busana sub-county in Kayunga district from where they hail, almost every household is involved in growing this oilseed.
Busana ne Kayunga.
Nansamba harvests 3 sacks of simsim, while Jaja harvests 1 sack. Roughly, a sack has about 100 kilograms. Multiplied by 4,000 shillings per kilogram, a sack would earn them 400,000 shillings, plus the value addition. Over the next decade, when Jaja retires from farming, she says she would love to hold on to growing simsim as a pastime. And for Nansamba, she hopes this crop will see her eventually owning her own car. And as they continue to reap rewards from this crop, the government is still contemplating on whether or not to export. Florence Nalimba, NTV.
Okay, it's time for NTV Business with Malcolm Musime. Malcolm, take it away.
Thank you very much. And tonight in Business, you can find out how the government and the private sector are attempting to tackle the growing problem of cybercrime. So you can definitely stay with us.
Because today is attacking the church leaders, tomorrow is attacking the Speaker of Parliament. Because you cannot keep attacking even people who have been ordained by God.
This is NTV.
Fieldwork has been defined by different scholars. Some think it is an art.
These are the blood types that are in human beings. We have A.
When a chemical reaction takes place, it involves 2 things.
We are given a straight line that has been denoted by 2x minus y is equal to 6.
I'm knocking. A message yali ku the last piece of a jambi yali muhadi wa yonna.
No, bloody way, holy moly.
We've just met, how can I be your friend? Hey, Mr. Rashmon,
okuzimba ennyumba nga kintu kizibu nnyo banange mugumire mu bupangisa.
I'm called Olar Oton. There's no
emmese yali ku the last piece of ejambye yali muhadiwa yonna.
No, bloody way, holy moly. We've just met, how can I be your friend? Mr. Rashmond. Okuzimba ennyumba nga kintu kizibu nnyo banange mugumire mu bupangisa.
I'm called Olar Oton. There's no English name. Just like resistance, Yakazol.
Yeah. I blame you. You have option of getting international husband. Why do you get it? New time.
This is NTV.
Good evening, Malcolm Musima, and you're welcome to NTV Business. Fast realities associated with cybercrime are now sinking into government units and the private sector. Given the escalation of related attacks, a stakeholders meeting convened at the National Information and Technology Authority here in Kampala this morning is demanding for speedy enactment of legislation in order to stem off the now growing vice.
With growing online transactions across the country and the region, instances of cybercrime is equally causing rip-offs to several business owners. Now, this scenario is presenting challenges that is not only occasioning losses to government ministries and departments, but also fledgling enterprises.
Legislation is very important because world over, most jurisdictions are actually applying e-commerce, online transactions, e-government, and for us to be able to implement these initiatives, it was very important for us to have the laws so that we know whichever players are participating in this sector are actually protected by the law.
This stakeholders meeting here in Kampala early today also sought to pronounce itself, among others, on the draft electronic transactions guidelines as well as accreditation of professionals and training institutions.
For those laws to be operationalized, it was important to support them with regulations, with a team coming from Ministry of ICT, supported by the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, were able to develop the regulations. So this meeting is meant to seek the stakeholder views on these regulations before we finalize them.
The National Information and Technology Authority, NITAU, administered this pressure now requires immediate reforms and enactment of laws that should keep off the vice. Reina Ojan, NTV Business.
Now, the growing gap between the country's population growth and the housing units constructed per annum is threatening to plunge the country into a housing crisis. The State Minister for Housing, Sam Ngola, says that the 5.9 housing units that the country is estimated to be having remain paltry compared to the country's yawning housing deficit. A situation, he says, is made worse by the fact that many are actually substandard units. While Uganda has one of the fastest population growth rates in the world, its ability to build the supportive housing units and infrastructure remains wanting, a situation which now experts fear might plunge the country into a housing and infrastructure crisis.
The country does not extend it to Sudan, does not extend it to Congo, does not extend it to Rwanda. The land remains the same. So you can see the difference of 5 million and 35 million, which means we have to think and see what to do for our country.
In order to cap the housing deficit, which today is catalyzed by high urbanization, government is looking at revisiting its housing policies to sync with today's realities.
The government has taken a decision to sell all government properties. Now in the new policy, we want to bring them back. Actually, we have to go and even have a study tour in Nairobi, where they have successfully done very well in doctors' houses, government civil servants. We want to see, although they are picked from us, but now we have lost. So we are going to go and pick from them.
with Uganda urbanizing at a fairly high rate of 5.6% and experiencing a high population growth rate of 3.4%. It's clear that the country has fast-track reforms in its housing policy, a failure of which will surely escalate the country's housing woes. Now, in the financial markets, the shilling continues to hold on to the earlier gains it made against the dollar. It traded today at 2,463 and 2,483, buying and selling respectively. So we have more in the markets report. And finally, in NTV Business for tonight, experts say that part of the strategies that developing countries like Uganda can use to overcome importation of low-grade goods is supporting the transfer of technology. Dr. Bin Yu, the chairman of the Chinese community, called for an import substitution strategy where the country should encourage setting up factories directly here to cap the importation of inferior products.
These Chinese business people doing trade and commerce in Uganda say that part of the avenues of reducing on low-grade items flowing to developing markets will have to do with transfer of technology and skills.
You know, the Chinese develop, and with Africa develop.
Yes.
Their bosses and keep moving.
Yes.
Yeah. So when Chinese business makes strong, they need a good as a finance as a partner.
Yes.
Yeah. So before we don't know EcoBank, but now EcoBank enjoy the Chinese business community. So we hope every strong bank join Chinese business community.
Dr. Bin Yu, the chairman of the Chinese community here in Uganda, was speaking on the sidelines of a meeting at which the formation of a Chinese business desk was announced by EcoBank.
Dedicated to serve the Chinese community, very well empowered with knowledge of the Chinese businesses, tapping also on our integration in other countries where we have Chinese desks, and that has been helpful.
Bilateral trade between Uganda and China remains imbalanced at nearly $400 million, with the rest of the continent and the Asian economic power standing at $14.7 billion.
That's what we had. And that's what we had for you on NTV Business for tonight. Thanks for watching. I'll be taking you back to Faith and Gabriel.
Thank you, Joel. And see you tomorrow. Now, Joel Kamadi is here to take us through sport. Joel, what should we expect?
Thank you, Faith. Thank you, Gabriel. I know Gabriel is not an Arsenal fan, but Faith, I think you're an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, I'm a loyal supporter.
Well, this must be music to your ears because Arsenal boss Arsene Wenger has hailed Olivier Giroud after unveiling the £13 million striker. Of course, he will be partnering at the front with the likes of Robin Van Persie and another new signing, Lucas Podolski. I'll be giving you more of this in NTV Sport. Up next.
Your Saturday afternoons just got better on NTV with Exposed. Join Cats and the Platinum D. Saturday afternoons just got better on NTV with Exposed. Join Cats and the Platinum DJs as they bring you some mad DJ skills and crazy video mixes.
You're now rocking with the best. Catch us every Saturday as we live. We'll take you through an experience you'll never forget.
Saturday afternoons just got better on NTV.
What's life? Is life ugly?
Is it spiritual?
Isn't it loved?
And above all, isn't life really drama?
Find out what life is and what it can be every Thursday at 11 p.m. with repeats on Friday and Sunday at 12:30 p.m.
This is NTV. This is NTV. Guinness.
Good evening and welcome to NTV Sport. I am Joel Kamadi. National kickboxing title contender Malik Kalisa has intensified training at the Lugogo National Council of Sports gym ahead of his rematch with defending champion Titus Tugume due next month. The super middleweight fight is scheduled to take place at the Lugogo Indoor Stadium on the 13th of July.
Kickboxer Malik Kalisa will have a chance to solve the unfinished business between him and reigning national kickboxing champion Titus Tugume. Kalisa lost last year's fight by a narrow 2 points margin, a loss he has since blamed on the bad weather of the day.
The ring was dripping, it rained so much, but this time we're having a fight in the indoor. There are no more excuses actually this time.
The super middle heavyweight fighter says since his loss in July last year, he has never stopped training, anticipating for a rematch. Kalisa is currently undergoing training at the Lugogo Boxing Gym under boxing coach Charles Rubulwa and former professional boxer Adam Kasim. The hitman also plans to capitalize on Tugume's weaknesses to dethrone him from the national championship.
I've seen him fight ever since the amateurs and I know his weaknesses, especially in kicking. In boxing, he's a bit okay. That's how we took advantage the other time because we couldn't kick that much because the floor was slippery. So we turned to boxing instead of kickboxing. Yeah, but I'm going to change that.
He hopes to step on Tugume before moving on for the East African title and the later challenge for the Intercontinental title. Sam Poza, NTV Sport.
Now, the World University Championships are slated for July 2nd to 7th in Cape Town, South Africa, and the Ugandan University ladies netball team are not leaving anything to chance as they trained at Makerere University training grounds. Team coach Rashid Mubiru is confident the team, which goes into the competitions as gold holders from the African Inter-University Championships, will deliver.
Strains on our team is depending on shooting sides because we have some tall shooters like Peace, Proskovia, Masa Soiji, Diana Nakanjako. We are expecting to win.
According to the team captain Mirembe Irene, this time around the Ugandan team is confident and that they're strong enough, with most of the players having been selected from the top Ugandan universities.
We are all good because we have got many players who are playing on our national team. And first of all, we hosted the All Africa Games from here, University Games, and we took the gold. So as we move to South Africa,
we're already in the gold brackets.
Now, the battle for the 2012 Best Muscle Man in the country begins this Thursday at Eden Service Park in Bwaise, Kampala, with over 10 clubs from various parts of the country competing in the revived National Interclub Bodybuilding Championship. Event organizer Bernard Munyagwa has told NTV Sport that the competitors, including reigning Mr. Uganda Rashid Kasim and Mr. Kampala Ivan Buekwaso, are set to face off in the 2012 Bodybuilding Calendar Opening Championship.
To the participants are all swearing to take the trophies to their clubs. Kasim of NTV Best Gym says he's taking it, and Kasim is the current Mr. Uganda. And Ivan Vyekwaso, former Mr. Uganda, says the trophy is going to Buziga. Nachivubo gym members say it has to remain in Nachivubo because they are the pioneers of bodybuilding in the country. Ben Rukwago also says this time it is remaining in Body Essence. All gyms basically have assured they are going to compete, and probably these Imbalala participants are arriving this evening, and Imbale participants.
Finally, in NTV Sport, on the international scene, Arsenal boss Arsene Wenger has hailed Olivier Giroud after unveiling the £13 million striker. Elsewhere, Iker Casillas knows Spain must stop his Real Madrid teammate Cristiano Ronaldo if he is to become the first player to rack up 100 victories in international football. These stories and more coming up in our international sports wrap. Giroud, who arrives from Montpellier, has joined German striker Lukas Podolski at the Emirates Stadium in a new-look attacking lineup. It remains to be seen whether they will play alongside Robin van Persie, who has 1 year left on his deal and is wanted by Manchester City. Giroud, who has scored 21 goals in 36 league games last season to finish as the French league's top goal scorer, has only recently returned from France's miserable Euro 2012 campaign. Much is already known about Podolski. The 27-year-old was part of the German squad that tripped apart England 4-1 at the last World Cup, even scoring in the process. But the Poland-born striker has been on Arsenal's radar for some time, where his impressive strike rate with Cologne led to a move to Bayern Munich before the 2006 World Cup. France star Samir Nasri could be banned from international football for 2 years following his attack on a journalist at Euro 2012. Midfielder Nasri was involved in a row with a French reporter after his team were knocked out in the quarterfinals 2-0 by Spain. Nasri, who came in as a second-half substitute, went through the mixed zone without a word for text reporters after the match. Finally, Iker Casillas is set to make his 136th appearance for his country in Wednesday's Euro 2012. And Casillas believes former World Player of the Year Ronaldo has still not quite reproduced the form that helped Real Madrid capture the La Liga title last season. A fired-up Ronaldo has been peppering opposition goals with shots in Portugal's 4 Euro 2012 outings, and Casillas said he will have to be wary of any deviation in the air due to the peculiar way Ronaldo strikes the ball.
Are you ready to drink at the table of men?
And that's all the sport we had for you tonight. Back to you, Gabriel and Faith.
Thank you, Joel.
Thanks, Joel. Kamadi. Well, let's now have a look at Wednesday's weather prospects. Okay, let's now go back to tonight's NTV poll, and we asked you, do you think that residents of landslide-prone areas like those in Bududa district should forcibly be relocated from their homes? The final poll result is out. 79% of you do believe that indeed they should be relocated to other safer areas, while 21% of you say no.
Well, we thank you so much for all your comments tonight. Let's now sample some of them.
Okay, Michael Aboneka, you say government has the discretion to take any decision so long as it's for the public interest. History has shown that people were hesitant to leave. They heeded to government's call of relocation. We would have saved lives today.
And Bernard Ogwal here says, no, I don't think it's wise to relocate these guys by force. The government should carry out sensitization drive and make the locals understand why they should move away from this area to achieve a long-term solution.
Senator Daniel, you say, of course, such people should be relocated to safer places rather than risking their lives in such dangerous areas. It's upon the government to act upon this immediately and save lives. And
Samogere Noah here says, if the government gives them where to leave everything to use in daily life, then it's okay.
And that concludes NTV Tonight. Thank you so much for all of your responses. Faith will be back later for a roundup of the day's news in NTV 11.
But for now, from both of us here, thank you for watching NTV Tonight. I am Faith Eriho.
I'm Gabriel Epenu. Have a good night and God bless you.
This is NTV.
Ideally, we all have the right to express our opinions and views truthfully and openly.
Atelelom tugenda katongole mbukasam.
Kampala bwerere mwansomu the bus. The discussion is still going on in the bus.
Tulino kugumira challenges ezimu gwe tuba tulino goba abatembeyi mwami lukwaga agumaga abatembeyi mugende never no mbadde ndala kunyonyola omukulu mbadde ndala kunyonyola omwami yagambye nti meya lukwago ye meya omutuufu
gavumenti ekutte lukwago emunyigira mu nsonga takyekyusa.
Welcome back to minibus kyogereko.
Singa omusajja abankwana nga njagala sifa ku kya ssente wabula nfa ku mbeera ye
alimba ono
This is minibus kyogereko.